this gives us our optimal solution or not. Guys, can we listen please? Shh. We need to decide whether this gives us our optimal solution or not. What do we do to identify whether it's optimal or not? Rob, can you read out what was our optimality condition?
If the objective row of a tableau has 0 entries in the basic columns.
Stop there a minute. Basic columns at the moment are these two here. But don't worry about this one, it's these two here. And they do have 0 entries there. So it meets that bit. Keep talking.
And no negative entries in the non-basic column.
And no negative entries, but it has got a negative entry, so it is not optimal. So we need a new tableau. So we start to draw out again a new tableau. And how do we identify our pivot? What's the first thing we do to identify our pivot? Can somebody tell me?
I just have a question there.
Okay.
In the optimality condition, why does it say if the objective... Oh, if the objective row has 0 in the basic column.
Okay. So, question to you all. Jess, question specifically to you actually. How do we find the pivot?
So the pivotal row would be the X one, that's what we...
The pivotal column, yeah. The pivotal column is the most negative value here, so that is the pivotal column.
Yeah.
Okay?
The pivotal row we calculated by doing
What do I got to work out now over here?
the value.
The theta values, okay?
Which is the value of the end of the row divided by the pivotal column.
Yeah, that's right. I now work out theta values over here. I work out 7.5 divided by 1.5. 7.5 divided by 1.5. Can anybody tell me what 7.5 divided by 1.5 is?
3, 4.5, 6, 5.
5 is correct. So theta there is 5. That was the value column number divided by the pivot column number on that row. Will Taylor, how do I work out the theta value for this row?
37.5 divided by 1.5.
It's that one divided by what's in my arrowed column.
Oh yeah, half.
The half. Okay. Without even working that out, it's very clear that the minimum of those two is going to be this one here. Okay, because that one's going to be double 37.5. That one's going to be 75. So the minimum theta value is this one here. So that identifies for me my pivotal row. So now I have my pivotal column and my pivotal row. I can circle my pivot. And my pivot is that 1.5. I've identified my pivot. We could do, but it's a negative thing over here. So because I'll be dividing by a negative, I don't bother doing it. You only do it for positive values. So now I've identified my pivot, what do I do next?
Divide the row by...
Not yet. Not dividing yet. I just write something down. What do I write down when I've identified my pivot? A 1. My pivot is a 1. And what else do I do immediately then?
Or maybe the other 0.
Yeah, make the others in that column 0. Okay? Now, next thing you do is to work out the other values in this column here, in this row. The row with the 1 in it, you work out those values. So what I'm going to do now is work out my new row 2. My new row 2, R2 star.
Oh, hang on. What was the pivotal one on the other... What was the pivot value on the other table?
On my first table, the very first tableau,
3 over 2. No.
you're going back to the very...
On the table we just did.
Here was 7.5 divided by 1.5, which gave us a 5 with theta value. And over here, 37.5 divided by a half gave me 75. Those are my theta values. Is that what you're asking about, Megan?
No, what the pivot one was.
The pivot one The pivot one appeared down here, whereas I created this second tableau, my pivot was down here.
No, I mean, why is 3 over 2 1.5 the pivot thingy?
Now I'm just going to stop recording.